Welcome, Blue Jackets fans, to another edition of Where Are They Now, presented by Huntington Bank, where we catch up with some of the most memorable names and faces to play for the Blue Jackets over the first 20 years of the franchise. And certainly a guy people from Cleveland, people from Columbus will remember. One of the first Ohioans to really make it big here with the Jackets and play some significant minutes. Dan Fritsche checking in from the Cleveland area. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you taking a couple minutes to do this. And, looking through your time here in Columbus, just over 200 games, 206 games, 29 goals, 63 points after your debut in 2003. Obviously, a lot of people remember the excitement that came when you stepped on the ice for the first time at 18 years old back in that 2003 season, just a couple months after being drafted by the franchise. And I guess I just kind of wanted to start there and just your memories of what it was like. It was a whirlwind time for you, first of all, being drafted in June. You make the team a couple months later and make your debut. What was that kind of like as you look back on it and kind of the emotions and memories that stick around from that time?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think it was a whirlwind, right? Back in the day, I think at the time I was planning on being drafted a little bit higher than I was. And when you're a kid going into the drafts, it's very similar to today. I think you have an idea of like 5-6 teams that you have a possibility to go to, depending on what your agent tells you, depending on, the interview process. So when I kept slipping, obviously there was much disappointment there. And I kept going and going. And, going into the draft, the Blue Jackets were never one of those teams that I thought that I would fall to or land on. So when they picked me, it made up for a lot. Falling in the draft, it really was a blessing in disguise. And, I had, for my best memories, best years of my life there. So
yeah. What was kind of the emotion when you were selected by the Blue Jackets? Obviously, you grew up in Cleveland, and there was minor league hockey up there, but the Blue Jackets weren't a thing until obviously the year 2000. So pretty much just 3 years before you got picked. So I mean, but it had to be cool to be able to stay in the state of Ohio and play for a team that was just up the road, just up I-71 from where you grew up.
Oh, of course. I mean, it was basically being drafted at home, right? It like you said, when I grew up, there was no Blue Jackets. So like I was always a fan of Detroit or Pittsburgh. But when the Blue Jackets came, they created a spark all through the state of Ohio. And, like I said, I always dreamed of playing once they came, playing in my home state, playing in Ohio, but I never thought I was going to get a chance to. And then when they called my name, it was, it was almost like a dream come true. Get to play for basically my home team.
Yeah, definitely wanted to ask you about the growth of hockey here in the state of Ohio as we go on. And I can relate growing up in Cleveland with, no NHL team here originally, but, being so close to Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Detroit and kind of how that all developed. But I just wanted to continue asking about your Blue Jackets career. You come in as an 18-year-old, playing at home. Just what was that experience like? Just because I'm sure there had to be some pressure. There had to be some expectations. And just how was it to handle that at 18 years old? And how do you think, I'm sure great memories, as you kind of mentioned earlier as well.
Yeah, of course. When you come in at such a young age, it's intimidating, right? There's no doubt about it. I went into camp, like everybody does, trying to have the best camp possible. And I really, a lot of things went my way. I worked my butt off and things fell into place and was able to make the team my first year. Did I really think I was ever going to have a chance to do that? No. So it kind of caught me off guard. And I just, for me, I just went in there with the mindset of just play hockey, just do what got me here. Don't try to change anything. And just try to keep it simple. But, it's a big culture change, right? When you go from junior hockey right to the NHL, you're going from 9-hour bus trips to private jet rides across the country, and all of a sudden you're getting paid lots of money, and you're still a kid. A lot gets thrown at you so quick, and it was a lot. I look back at that time, it was a lot, and luckily, I have great parents and great people that surrounded me and, helped me through this huge process, this dream of mine that has suddenly came true. and we made it work. So it's exciting.
Yeah, definitely want to ask about the family ties as well, because you come from quite a hockey family as we go on. But just what kind of stands out, especially as you became a regular over those years? I'm sure you learned from those, early being kind of thrown into the whole thing at 18 years old, as you were just talking about. I ended up, playing just over 200 games here in Columbus. What are kind of some of the memories that do stand out, maybe teammates and things like that, and just the experience of being able to play here in Nationwide?
Oh, well, like I said, like from the very beginning of the interview, it's like, it was like playing at home, right? I had family members down every single night. Guys on my team hated me because I was always the one bugging them for tickets, right? Like, the going around the locker room, you using your tickets tonight, so, just annoying the crap out of all of them. But that's what you got when you basically play at home. But I always tell people the time of my life was, like my second, third, fourth season, when my brother was down here playing at Ohio State. I bought a condo just a couple miles down the road from like Ohio State campus. And I got the chance to live with my brother, my best friend who went to Ohio State. So it was, it literally felt like we were just playing hockey. So and the city of Columbus, the fans there, they're fantastic fans, so loyal. It made it so fun, so easy to play there.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that, and that's something to say. You've kind of probably seen this fan base grow from the time it kind of started to the time that you played, even now.
Sure.
It was just kind of fun to be able to play in front of the kind of the energy here, especially those first couple of years. There was just so much energy in the building. People so excited to actually have NHL hockey in Columbus, in the state of Ohio, and it had to be kind of something you felt as well growing up here.
Oh, for sure. And I always put myself in Mr. McConnell's shoes. Like what guts it took to bring an NHL franchise to Columbus, right? Because it's like Ohio. It's like nobody thinks of, especially in like 2000, like hockey in Ohio. Like you're crazy, right? Like that's ever going to, take on, and people are going to, grab onto this. I always think about that, and it's like, wow, what a gutsy move that was, But the guy really felt the pulse of the city, and he knew what loyal fans they had, I believe. Man, was it a good decision, because these fans have been through a lot. Not till just 4 or 5 years ago did they get a chance to see their team in the playoffs. So I mean, it's but at the same time, you still see sellout crowds all through these years, and the loyalty stretches all the way up to Cleveland, all the way down to Cincinnati. They've done so much for the state of hockey. We all owe a lot to the McConnells for bringing them here, and the Blue Jackets for putting hockey on the map in Ohio here.
Yeah, and I don't think you were the first Ohioan to play for the Blue Jackets. I actually think that was Brett Harkins, who was from Northeast Ohio as well. And I remember him playing for the Lumberjacks up there in Cleveland as well. But you were, I think, the first guy to kind of get really consistent playing time here. Is that something you're proud of as you look back to kind of, bridge that gap, and especially being from Cleveland and kind of being able to take it up to I-71 a little bit? I mean, there has to be some pride as you look back and realize that you had a part in that, this whole thing.
Yeah, of course. And that's kind of what, I'm trying to continue to build, especially up here in Cleveland, right? Like I said, hockey's grown so much, and a big part of that is due to the Blue Jackets. Just bringing attention to the game, and now having, the affiliate with the Monsters up here. That alone is doing so much. So I'm trying to take what I've put in place of me playing with the Blue Jackets and trying to continue to grow the game up here, and develop players up here. I have 3 boys of my own. I got twin 6-year-olds and a 1-year-old. So, they're my 6-year-olds are full blown into it. I mean, they're on the ice 4 times a week. They love it. it's, this last year, I think they finally realized, it's clicked in their head that, their dad played for the Blue Jackets when all their friends talk about it. So
Yeah.
it's proud. It's a really cool experience to see them understand that and love the game so much. And I'm definitely having fun working with them. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, you've come from a hockey family to begin with. Your uncle actually coached the junior Blue Jackets down here. And obviously Tom played at Ohio State. I remember watching him there as a Buckeye, a great college player as well. I mean, just how important is that family aspect for you as well to kind of keep that going? And, it's obviously the sport's probably given a lot to you guys over the years, and you've had a lot of great experiences because of it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's all we know, right? I mean, my father's had the only hockey store up here since the early 90s. I always say it stemmed from the hockey store, right? It was like the only place to go for people in the 90s. They would go to sports in Parma. That alone kind of like, put us in the hockey family. And then my dad just, with all his dedication, he turned me and my brother into professional hockey players. And that kind of took our name into a different level here in Cleveland. And like I said, now it's on to the next generation with my kids, and we're trying to do our best to build the game up here, and hopefully get a couple others having the chance to play for the Blue Jackets soon.
Yeah, I have to ask. I remember covering Tom at Ohio State back in the day. How is he doing? I know he's kind of got the coaching game as well. So I say those family ties are pretty strong.
Yeah, he's doing good. He's coaching a travel hockey team up here, the 2009 Cleveland Junior Jacks. So he's coaching birth year up here, and he runs a lot of hockey camps with me. And he's staying involved, and hopefully he'll have some youngins of his own that will get to teach here soon.
Yeah. And obviously, the kind of the hockey infrastructure wasn't quite as in place, I think, when you were kind of growing up as it is now with junior programs and things like that. There were some, but it just, I think with the Blue Jackets and just how the sport has grown, it's gotten bigger in this state over the years. Just from your perspective, just how different is it now than maybe it was when, 20 years ago when you were coming up through the ranks and, trying to find good ice time, good teams, things like that, and just trying to get the exposure and trying to get yourself out there the way that you did and ended up being a second round pick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's grown a lot, right? Like the Blue Jackets, like we said, they've done so much. When I was a kid, it was never, we would go to Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Detroit, or we'd be up in Canada playing. Columbus was never an option. You guys have a program down there. So now it's, Columbus's youth hockey program is probably overstepped Cleveland's youth hockey. They're probably one step. I mean, just by watching hockey games, and and again, it's all due to the Blue Jackets, and it helps that former players are staying down there. Like I know Rick, RJ, Jared's down there, Bull, all being part of youth hockey. Andrew Castles is working with youth, and so it helps. I get jealous because all those guys are staying down here and I'm back up in Columbus. I would love to have all those group of guys working with, Cleveland kids, but it's because of those guys, it's because of the Blue Jackets that, Columbus youth hockey has really exploded. And I think from watching it for the last 4 or 5 years that they're probably a step ahead of Cleveland youth hockey right now. And, which is good, right? We have something to strive for, and we have an easy 2-hour drive to find good competition and teams to really push our athletes up here.
Yeah. And you mentioned obviously some of the names, guys that you played with that are still involved in hockey, but I just want to ask you, who are some of the guys you remember playing with and some of the guys who are maybe the most fun to play with over your time with the Jackets? Because, a lot of names that people really like to kind of still think about all these years later.
Yeah. I mean, I had fun with a lot of guys, right? Like the guys I just mentioned, like Andrew Castles, he was one of the guys I really looked up to when, he was an older guy my first year. Jody Shelley, had a lot of fun playing with him. He was my line mate for a lot of years. Jared Bull, a good friend of mine. Rick Nash was a good friend of mine on the team. So I had fun playing with all those guys. Aaron Johnson was another good friend. Me, Rick, and him used to hang out a lot. But Jared, Bull would stay with us in our condo over the summertime and train with us. So we got really close, and I'm glad getting the chance to watch him work with youth hockey in Columbus is good to see as well. So
yeah. No, definitely a lot of great names there. And everyone's really kind of, the rising tide has lifted all boats here in the state of Ohio, and not just Columbus, but even up in Cleveland and stuff like that. So great to catch up. Great to talk a little bit about our great state here. And always good to see you, Dan. So thank you for taking part here.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Dan Fritsche, our latest guest here on Huntington Bank's Where Are They Now series, looking back at the first 20 years and some of the CBJ legends and names and faces we all remember. Stay tuned for the next episode coming up soon. And thank you.